Hey everyone, I wanted to talk a little bit about Planet of the Apes, just because I was thinking about Planet of the Apes a lot. Um, let's see, I'm trying to remember. It was back in the 90s. I remember, I think it was, oh yeah, they were going to be doing a marathon of Planet of the Apes movies on CBS or something. I don't remember. Anyway, I remember, let's see, I didn't see all of them. I saw or no, I saw Escape from the Planet of the Apes. I think that might have been the only one I saw, unfortunately. But a couple years later, the Tim Burton remake reimagining was coming out, and they were just promoting the heck out of the movies in on TV and stuff. And I think it might have been a little bit before that movie came out. We were at the video store and we rented the original Planet of the Apes. I liked it okay, but I was a really, really little kid, like I don't even know how old I was, like 6 or 7 probably. I didn't really connect with the deeper meanings and the messages that the movie was trying to convey. Like I just liked the effects. I liked the ape designs. I liked the scene where Charlton Heston is trying to run away from the apes and get away, and uh, I like the sci-fi fantasy stuff. Then I got a little bit older. I'm trying to remember what one I saw. Oh yeah, I remember. We were at a yard sale. There was a huge box full of tapes. I'm looking through the tapes, and I found Planet of the Apes. I was like, oh, cool, Planet of the Apes. I'm gonna watch this again. So I bought the tape, got in the car, realized, oh, this is Battle for the Planet of the Apes, and it says Part 5. And I was like, there were 5 of them? Because at this point, I didn't remember seeing Escape that well. But I was like, wow, there were 5? Anyway, I took it home, watched it. It was okay. It wasn't the worst thing ever. It was okay. Not paced particularly well. I did like that it had who's that guy? Paul Williams. That's it. I love Paul Williams' ape character, Virgil. That was his name. I love Paul Williams. He did the some of the music for Secret of Nim. Love that. Love his music in general. Awesome. Anyway, let's see. After that, the oh yeah, I found a tape of the first movie, watched it, and see, I think I was like 13, 14, maybe. I'm trying to remember. I don't know how old I was. Anyway, this time around, I really, really liked it because I knew what the movie was saying. I got the message because as a little kid, I didn't really understand the message. I was just like, ooh, cool, apes. And let's see, I'm trying to remember what's it. Oh yeah, then I saw Conquest. So I saw these movies just in bizarre order. The library had a bunch of new tapes in that you could take out, and one of them was Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. So I took that home and I watched it, and I fell in love with it. I took that movie out like so many times. I don't know what the library ended up doing with it. They don't have tapes anymore. Or actually, maybe they do. I don't know. I haven't been there in forever, but they definitely didn't have that one anymore. They used to have a huge section for movies. Now it's like just one little closet in the back with some DVDs in it. Yippee. Anyway, I loved Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and that really inspired me to go out and find all of them. And when I got a Blu-ray player, one of the very first things I bought was this box set of Planet of the Apes Blu-rays. It's all 5 original movies. That was awesome. Oh, also, before I owned this, there was a DVD set of the first movie, and as a bonus feature, it had behind the Planet of the Apes. Loved that. I watched that like a million times, and that was actually what triggered my memories of seeing Conquest, because I saw the clips of Cornelius and Zira in, was it the 60s or something? Uh, Mingling with humans and talking at a party. We see Cornelius come out in a tuxedo suit. It was so funny. And I was like, oh, I remember that. I remember those scenes. And I was trying to remember, and then I remembered finally, oh yeah, there was a marathon of these movies when I was really, really little. But I couldn't really remember too much of the movie. I don't even know if I watched the whole thing. Seems like the ending might have traumatized me if I had seen it that young, but I don't know, maybe I didn't think about it. I saw lots of really creepy, weird movies when I was a really little kid, and I loved them. Like The Witches. That was one of my favorite movies when I was like under 5. And Dark Crystal. Freaking loved The Witches and Dark Crystal. Those are 2 of my favorite movies. Yeah, I had weird tastes as a kid. I liked creepy stuff. You know what movie freaked me out more than anything was Babe, actually. Isn't that weird that of all these creepy movies, Babe is what freaks me out. The scene where, what's it, there's a mad dog that kills that sheep that's Babe's mother, and we just see its, like, corpse on the back of a truck. That freaked me out for some reason. Actually, I rewatched that, like, way back when I was, like, 14 or something. It still kind of, like, disturbed me, because it's like, oh, cute animals, and suddenly, oh, bloody, violent, and death. Ugh. Anyway, back to Planet of the Apes. I got this Blu-ray box set. I was able to watch all the movies in order. That was awesome. I loved them all, so I'm going to go over all my Planet of the Apes, or, well, not all the Blu-rays and DVDs I have, because I got a few others here and there, like in the hallway, but I have all the movies that I want here. So first up, I'm going to talk about the original Planet of the Apes. I love these covers for these Blu-rays. These were really, really cool. Oh, cheapo box, isn't that nice? I'm not a fan of the cheapo boxes, but I do like the cover. Oh, and even the disc design is really cool. That is neat. So anyway, first movie, freaking love it. Let's see, I remember when I had the tape, I watched the tape like a million times over. I loved it. Can't really think of anything specific to say about it. My thoughts on the movie. Oh, one of the interesting things, the tape that I had was in full screen, and then I saw the Behind the Planet of the Apes documentary about the behind the scenes, and they talked about there's a scene in the movie where during the court scene, there's these three like judges or something, and they do the hear no evil, speak no evil, hear or see no evil, hear no evil, whatever. They do that monkey pose thing, and I guess a lot of people thought that was silly, but in the full screen version, you can't see what the two other you only see the middle ape. You don't see the other ones. So you just see the middle one, and it looks like he's holding his head in frustration. So when I saw the DVD and it's so obvious that the other two are doing that and he's in the middle doing this, suddenly I was like, "Oh, huh. I guess that's one positive the full screen version has." Because in the full screen version, and if you're curious, go look up the full screen version because it completely changes the tone of the scene. In the normal like widescreen version, it kind of takes you out because it's a little too far. There's not really that many gags in the movie like that, if any. Like I can't think of any other gag in the movie really. There's just that one scene. So that's the interesting thing I have to say about the first one. So after the first one is, let's see, Beneath the Planet of the Apes. The last one that I saw was the direct sequel. Okay. So when I eventually did see this, I fell in love with this movie. It's kind of interesting because it's kind of looked at as not a very popular sequel. A lot of people don't like the direction that it went in. Oh, that's a cool image there of, is that Dr. Zaius? Yeah, Dr. Zaius. That's cool. Let's see. What is the guy's name here? James Franciscus. That's the name of the guy in this one. Charlton Heston is the main guy in the first one, and this one has James Franciscus, who was part of a team that was sent out to find the first team, who ended up on the Planet of the Apes. Anyway, Beneath, really, really like this one. It's a very well-paced movie. It's a really good movie. There's not a whole lot that like I have a big problem with a lot of this movie. I really, really like. I like the underground mutants. I like that they pray to a big bomb. Uh, there's just a lot of really cool stuff in here. There's some like bizarrely violent stuff in here, which I don't know. I'm kind of used to it now in Planet of the Apes. That yeah, Planet of the Apes movies have some violence in them. Let's see. There was something in particular with this one that I wanted to talk about. Now I don't remember what it was. Oh well, anyway. It was a really cool movie, really liked it. It was really cool seeing it in the order that I did because like I'd seen the first one, I'd seen Escape, I'd seen Conquest, I'd seen Battle, I'd seen the remake and the new movies, and I hadn't seen Beneath. So it was really cool to be able to link all the pieces together with this. And then let's see. Next up is Escape from the Planet of the Apes. This one was a really good one. The one that I remember seeing when I was a really little kid. Oh yeah, at the beginning, There's a scene. This also, like, it triggered a memory, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember being a kid. Three apes go. They take Taylor's ship, and they end up going back in time with it. And let's see, it's Cornelius, Zira, and then there's another ape, Milo, who's like immediately murdered by this guy in a really bad gorilla suit in a zoo. Yeah. So they're being kept in a zoo next to this sick gorilla, and so Milo's walking around, he's leaning up against the bar, and then the gorilla comes in and like kills him. And it's such a bad looking suit, and it's so weird because it's Planet of the Apes. You couldn't get some decent ape makeup for this guy. It's just a guy in a bad suit. And it looks like a suit too. It's so weird. In the first two movies and in this one, the apes, like in the actors in the suits, their body language is like really remarkable. Like they don't move like humans. They move not like apes, but like somewhere in between. It's really good. And it really helps build the illusion that yeah, these are actual things moving around and talking and living their lives and this and that. And oh, let's see, there's the interior with Zira there. I really like Zira in this movie. She's such a great character. Too bad yeah, she wasn't in any of the other sequels. She wasn't in, or was she in Conquest? I don't think so. She wasn't in Battle. Or maybe she was back as another character, but not as Zira. Anyway, love this movie. Let's see. This is also the introduction for what's his name, Ricardo Montalban's character Armando. Really love his character, especially in Conquest, the next movie. So Conquest is what made me like a diehard Planet of the Apes fan. Excuse me. So open up cheapo box, and there's not Cornelius. This is Caesar, his son. What was his original name? I'm sure they gave him like, oh yeah, they named him Milo, didn't they? And then he changes it to Caesar. Okay. Anyway, this is the movie that made me a big fan. I really, really love this one. And I was really surprised to find out that this one had like some controversy back when it was released because of violence. And I was like, the other movies are violent. They shoot a baby at the end of the last one. What? The second one ends with Charlton Heston blowing up the Earth. That's not violent? Whatever. Anyway, the violent one. This one, I don't know if I would still call this my favorite of the original movies, because I really like the first three, and I also like Battle. I don't know. It's hard for me to judge. It depends on the day, I guess. Whatever day you ask me. Right now, I'm thinking my favorite movie is probably Escape, but tomorrow it might be Conquest. I really liked the tone of this. It had like a very dark militaristic tone. We see like the apes as slaves. He gives this great speech at the end to inspire all the apes to rise up against the slave driving humans, and it's really, really cool. Really love it. Especially Ricardo Montalban's character. He is just so awesome. The bad guy in this is so despicable. One of those love to hate type of characters. Just everything about this movie is so awesome. I remember watching the oh, where is it? The unrated cut. It's not quite as good. I like the normal one better just because the unrated one they didn't really have as much to work with to restore it. I think maybe if the unrated cut had been made back during this movie's like original creation, all the actors were there, they could very easily bring them back and finish the scenes and stuff. I think it would have turned out better. But as it is here, it's kind of awkward. So last up for the original movies, Battle for the Planet of the Apes. I remember marathoning these movies, and this one is kind of a weak follow-up to Conquest. As a movie on its own, as like a kid's adventure movie, it's fine. And also, I do really appreciate that there's a lot of stuff in here that links back to the original movie and the sequel Beneath. That was really cool. When I finally saw Beneath the Planet of the Apes, I was like, oh, that's what happens to the humans of this movie. That's such a cool circular way to do things. Let's see, open it up, and there's General. What's his name? I can't remember what his name is. Urdo? Urso? Maybe I'm I haven't thinking of the one from the TV show. Anyway, Battle for the Planet of the Apes is it's an okay movie. One of the things I really liked is the humans' vehicles. They have this big school bus that they've converted into like a war machine. I don't know, I just liked that. And I remember hearing that this movie was an inspiration for Mad Max. Huh, I can see it. There's some pretty cool stuff. There's some kind of repetitive stuff in this movie that stands out as not being very good. There's some pacing issues with the movie. It's definitely the slowest of the Planet of the Apes original movies. But I don't know. I have a soft spot for it. I still really like it. So moving on to, let's see, what would be next? TV show. I love the TV show. It's freaking awesome. I was kind of surprised to hear that a lot of people didn't like the TV show, and the biggest reason I heard was it's repetitive. It's the same story each time. It's the two humans are trying to escape from the apes. They outsmart the apes and they get away. I don't know. Especially for the time that this came out, I really don't see any issue. Like I've seen so many old TV shows, especially like action adventure shows. They're very, very repetitive. Actually, now also action adventure shows can be extremely repetitive. So I don't know. I don't really get the argument that it's bad because it's repetitive. They found a formula that worked. I like the formula. I think it works fine. Let's see. Nothing too, yeah, nothing too special with the DVDs. Just some stock images on the discs there. What's on the other one? Yeah, just more stock images. Now, one of the weird things, when I first started watching this, it was right after seeing all the other movies, and at the very beginning of the first episode, there's a part that really throws me. There's a dog that runs up and, like, starts barking at something, like where the humans are hiding or something. And I was like, wasn't an enormous plot point from the movies that there shouldn't be dogs? That one of the reasons why the humans started to, like, oh, what's the word? I can't remember what the word is. Domesticate. The reason the humans started domesticating the apes in the first place was because there was some kind of mysterious virus that killed off a lot of dogs and cats. It's implied all. So people wanted pets, here's apes. And this starts off with a dog, so I don't know. It's possible, I guess, that not all dogs and cats died from the virus or something, but it's a very bizarre way to begin the show. Like, if that had just been a random episode somewhere, okay, fine. It's ignorable enough, but in the very first, it's very strange. Anyway, there's some really good episodes in here. There's some more dull episodes, but there's no episode I completely dislike. I think all the episodes are done just fine. It ends on a cliffhanger, unfortunately, which is really disappointing. That they never there's never any kind of big resolution. The last episode is just another episode. So I love the series, but it's just very disappointing the way it ended because it ended too soon. There was a animated version that stuck way closer to the original book. Oh, and I have read the original book. I read it for the first time a couple of years ago. I really liked it. I loved it. I like the movie better. The book also has some good qualities. I am interested in watching the cartoon at some point because it has a lot of similarities to the book. But for the moment, I'm fine with what I have. I'm not in a big hurry to find the cartoon or anything because I don't have much time to watch anything. Let's see. So after the TV series would be the Tim Burton movie. Yay. I do not care for this movie. A lot of people really do not care for this movie. It's a mess. It's kind of hard to watch because it's just a big mess. The plot is really convoluted. The characters, at least the main character, Mark Wahlberg there, his character is not really well fleshed out or explained. He doesn't really have much of a character. Most of his character is just running around and being like, oh, oh, which I guess he's good at, but it doesn't make for a very interesting character if you don't give him any kind of interesting dialogue. And there's also a lot of stuff in here that ties in a teensy bit with the original movies. Like, there's a part where some of the apes are sitting around and they're talking about humans getting into their gardens or something, which ties in with the original movie. And they're talking about, what was it, back in my day, we would kill a human and hang it outside the garden and it would keep the others away. And that's kind of a callback to the scarecrows that were in the original movie, although they weren't dead humans hanging there, it was just, like, blankets or something. So anyway, there's some interesting ideas in this movie. I'm not really that big of a fan. Let's see. Paul Giamatti plays an orangutan named Limbo. I do like him. He's a likable character. He's definitely one of the better characters in this. He just has a natural likability. I like his design. The makeup effects in this were really good. Like, if there's any reason to watch this, it's definitely for the makeup effects. They look amazing. The music is okay. It was done by Danny Elfman, I think. Let me look here. Yep, music by Danny Elfman. Tim Burton directed. Definitely not one of Tim Burton's better movies, but it's like if you're a big Tim Burton fan or something, you might want to give it a check. Maybe you'll appreciate some stuff. I don't think there's too many people out there who are super into this movie, but I think there's definitely people out there who kind of like it. So that's all I have to say about that one. And after that movie, there was kind of a dry spell. Planet of the Apes was a dead franchise. There wasn't a whole lot going on. We'd get comic books occasionally, and that was about it. There were some video games here and there, I think. And then in, let's see, 2011, I believe, we got Rise of the Planet of the Apes, the first of a new trilogy. I didn't know it was going to be a trilogy at first, but it ended up being one. So, anyway, I saw the trailers. They did not impress me. I didn't care for this from the looks of the trailers. I thought it looked bad. And so anyway, the library actually got the DVD of this, so I was like, sure, it's free. I took it out, I watched it. Turns out I really liked the movie. It was a really, really solid movie. Everything kind of fit together and made sense, and also tied in with the original movies, and had a bunch of cool little callbacks to the original movies. So yeah, in the end, I really ended up liking this movie, although the CGI effects were like immediately dated. They were bad when the movie came out, they're bad now. The CGI effects, while the motion capture for the face does bring a lot of emotion through the CGI face, the CGI like rendering and the way it moves just does not look right most of the time. There's some scenes where the apes look really good in movement, and then there's other times they just look really, really fake and awful. Ugh. And yeah. So anyway, there's the discs inside there, nothing too special. And then came Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and I was really excited to see this because I liked the first one so much. So I watched it, and mixed feelings. The effects improved immensely since the first movie. The first movie, the effects were kind of a big letdown. In this movie, though, the effects look really, really good. Like, it's still obviously CGI, but it works for like the type of movie this is and the way everything kind of works. So there's the disc inside there. The story of this movie, I don't know. It felt weak to me. Let's see. I don't know. One of the things I thought about a lot with this was like it feels like Walking Dead because it's like a bunch of like random people out in the woods hiding out, and then we have the tribe of the apes off somewhere else, and like some of that is cool. Oh yeah, there's a ape from the first movie, Koba, who comes back in this movie as a major character, and he becomes the antagonist, and he fights Caesar for control of the apes. And it's a really cool struggle. I really like some of Koba's scenes in here. Up until the end. At the end, it just falls flat for me. The final scenes with Caesar and Koba just, I don't know, they feel wrong and rushed, like there wasn't a whole lot of thought behind it. But overall, it's an okay movie. It's kind of a mid type of movie. Like it's the middle sequel, so eh. It's got some positives, quite a few negatives, but in the end, it's okay. I would definitely prefer watching this over the Tim Burton one. And so then finally, War for the Planet of, or War, yeah, War for the Planet of the Apes. I was going to see this in theaters actually, but then I didn't. Yeah. I was working in a grocery store and the hours were just bizarre. I had no idea, like, what my hours would be. They would change every week. And this movie was playing, like, I think, like, at 7 or something, so I kept waiting for, like, oh, well, I'll wait till a day where I work till 5, and then I'll walk down to the theater, and it never happened around that time, so I just never got around to seeing it. But I bought the Blu-ray when it came out, and I really, really enjoyed this. Really wish I had seen it in theaters. But anyway, this was a great way to end the new series of movies, and I didn't realize it was going to be an ending. I thought that this was going to lead into more movies, but it didn't, for whatever reason. Anyway, Caesar is now, like, the leader. The CGI effects are really good. The integration with the human actors and the real world look really good. There's some great new characters in this movie, like Bad Ape. I guess that's just his name. I remember when the movie was coming out, there were pop toys that came out, and there was one that just says Bad Ape. And I was like, that can't be his name. Yep, that's, I guess, the only name he has. Yeah, I really like this movie. It's kind of, it's, oh, war. It's a war movie, basically, and I kind of like fantasy sci-fi war movies. So this worked really well, and again, it ties in really well with the older movies. And if you were to, like, put all the movies in a kind of timeline, you could fit these new movies in there pretty easily. That's one of the fun things with Planet of the Apes, is trying to figure out, like, oh, where does this go in the timeline? There's some little things that don't quite match up, like characters' names are different, or the timeline is slightly skewed a certain way. But if you ascribe to the, like, circular timeline theory, where the timeline repeats itself, it's possible the timeline is repeating itself, and there's little differences going on that cause these little inconsistencies, and it's a neat thing to think about. So anyway, this was a really cool movie. Really loved the ending to it. I really wish there were more Planet of the Apes movies. For such a popular franchise, it hasn't really gotten that much, actually. We got a series of 5 movies. There were 2 spin-off shows, both of which were kind of short-lived. There was a remake that was kind of not really well accepted. There was the new trilogy of movies, which people seem to like just fine. I don't see, like, super glowing praise for them, but people don't seem to absolutely despise them and hate them. And, oh, they were all 20th Century Fox, so I'm wondering, does Disney... Yeah, Disney owns Planet of the Apes now. So I'm waiting to see what Disney does with Planet of the Apes. That'll be weird. They... Aren't they doing a Predator movie or something? Hmm. Oh, well, anyway. I like Planet of the Apes. So, yeah. This was fun going over all my Planet of the Apes Blu-rays, DVDs, talking about my thoughts on each movie. Hope you enjoyed this. See ya.